Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Heroes of Hyperborea as we jump back in. We have the full crew with us tonight as we're going to dive back in and see what kind of trouble we can get into. But first, let's do some introductions. I first want to introduce my voice actor friend below me, who is...
I'm Bob Carter, also known as Captain Androcles Thalassa.
Ooh.
I'm playing the Chronicler, the Atlantean Chronicler of the collapse of the Atlantean civilization, and as we wander into the wilderness, the savage lands that is Hyperborea, I am joined by my boon companions, my most trusted bro, Brogan.
And please introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Brogan. I am Danny. I play Brogan, the Paladin of Apollo, and he's just about as badass as it gets.
That's it. It's the Matthew
humble
McConaughey
opinion.
Paladin. Your oh so humble opinion. Right.
Time is a flat circle.
All right, and then all the way down at the bottom, my brother from my mother.
Only quasi-related.
Only quasi-related.
Hey, Chris Bradley calling in from Austin, Texas, and I am playing a magician named Magos, and he is, what's that?
Magos, M-A-G-O-S?
Yeah, Magos. And I have been traveling to find the ancient ruins of Sarnath. My research has led me to believe that this once vibrant city has been destroyed by a meteorite.
That's right.
And so I've been in search of more of these, what we call star medals.
Yes.
And so I am in the Eskimo village right
the Eskimo village of Ryland. And also, I guess I need to introduce myself. My name is Trevor. I am the DM and the host here tonight. So thank you so much for joining us as we're going to dive back in to Hyperborea. So as we begin our story, I've got the map in front of us of the region that we're in, but we're really focused on Dagon Bay. Now, where the story has been so far is we started with our heroes that were crash landed, and the ones that survived their epic tale with the ape village and everything have now set sail, and for the last month they were at sail trying to find their way into the sea, and they were being tracked by this legion of the undead, and they were trying to decide if they were being tracked, or if the magic bow that they found, if it was being tracked. So they came up with a plan, and their plan was to separate. Brogan took a rowboat into a fishing village, while Captain Androcles sailed the ship off in a separate direction to see if the legions of the undead have been following them underwater and on the shore, who they would follow. And as we saw last week, we saw an adventure where Brogan went into Ryland and was about to meet up with a sorcerer that he had heard about. And that is where we picked up last week. Where we're going to go start this week is going to be Androcles, as he has been sailing, and he has found that through speaking to his befriended animals, the dolphins of the bay.
Killer whales.
No, they're not killer whales. They're dolphins. There's a reason there are no giant whales in this bay. But the dolphins, on the other hand, have told you that the undead are not following you.
Perfect.
So at this point, you've circled back to go find Brogan, and you've docked up at Ryland, and that is where we're going to pick up the story tonight. So let's kick up some music. Let's change the page as we move over, and now we have a splash page of the boat, Androcles' boat. We have a captain. Androcles' ship, which we haven't named the ship yet. And as you pull into the harbor, you see several Eskimos about, and as you see them fishing, and you see other boats pulled up. It is winter, the snow is falling. There's a little bit of ice gathered around the dock as well, as that cold breeze is coming in. The ship that you are sailing is extremely difficult for two people to sail. You need a proper crew. It's even more difficult with just one. You're having to go very slow and just kind of ease your way across the bay. But because of the months and months that you spent on the Viking ships that you've gotten pretty accustomed to sailing, you're able to bring the boat to bear and to dock at the fishing pier here. And as you step off and you look about, you see several Eskimos looking about, wearing large furs and maybe like a scattering of leather armor. Also, they have spears as well as just nets as they're pulling in different fish and things of that nature. So at that point, you've now stepped onto the dock and now you're looking about. So Androcles, Captain Androcles, what would you like to do?
I will step onto the dock, survey the scene, so to speak, look fondly upon the Atlantean reveille, and at my ship.
The Atlantean revelry?
Reveille.
Reveille, okay.
Although I like Atlantean revelry, actually. You know what? I might go with that one.
The Atlantean revelry. Okay.
The Atlantean revelry.
All right.
Party.
Okay.
So I'm going to walk up the docks, and I'm going to inquire about my friend Brogan, a paladin of some renown, champion of Apollo.
All right. So as you walk up, you see a fisherman look at you. Goes, "Hey, friend. It's a large boat for you to be sailing alone."
Well, I'm no stranger to handling large ships.
I see.
I'm Atlantean.
I could tell.
However, I can always use a good crew. Is there a place here where I could find some worthy sailors?
You go up to the lodge. I'm sure you could hire some. There are some Vikings that came through, probably looking for work.
Vikings?
Yes, they came aboard that ship, and he points to a Viking longship down the way.
Did it look familiar? Like it was possibly part of like a Viking?
It's hard to
slavery
tell.
ship?
I mean, it's a Viking longship. They all look similar.
Yeah, they really got to be racist like that. All right.
The ship,
Vikings
the
look-
ship.
Vikings look like-
SS slavery. Yeah.
All right. All right. That's interesting. In that case, I thank him very much for letting me know that. And I will go to a different lodge than that one.
Well, he points away, and there's deck planking that kind of go up the side of this ridge. There's a small tributary that kind of cuts through, and at the very top you can see what looks to be, even though these are Eskimos and Eskimo village, you look up and you see the architecture of there's two major buildings you can see as you're looking up the mountain or the hill as it is, and you see one tower, and then you see another larger lodge next to it. And as you look, you see that the craftsmanship looks to be Viking in make. It's a very distinguished way that they build their housing. And you look about and you see only Eskimo here. You've heard of Viking visitors, but the architecture of the village itself looks to be Viking.
Interesting. That is interesting. I will make my way up that direction then.
Okay.
And
So
see-
as you make your way up, we'll move to Ryland.
Mhm.
All right. So as you make your way up to Ryland, you see the large wall, the timber wall. The gates are open. There's a small building to the left as you're walking up. There you see a few Eskimos working about, collecting fish and things. It seems to be where they clean a lot of the fish and things like that from the docks. You also see a tower. Like a sentry tower right behind it, like a lookout tower, and you see that there is blood collected under the tower. It's one of the things that you notice. It's very unmistakable because of all the white snow that you see, like this big pools of red blood over there as well.
Oh, so it's fresh. Has there been trouble in the area?
You say that, and there's one hunter that's sitting there cleaning fish, and he goes, you could say that. A little bit of problem with wolves, apparently.
Ah, I see. And I seek to find a Paladin of Apollo. We were
Paladin.
supposed to meet here in this village. Is he here?
Well, there was an armored
Give him
fellow
a-
that came in yesterday, a knight of some sort. Maybe that was him.
Perhaps that is.
Bro-
Can you tell me where I
Brogan?
might find him?
Brogan is his name, I believe.
Yes, that would be him.
Oh.
You say he's in the lodge there?
Yes, I believe he's staying with the lodge. He helped take care of our wolf problem, apparently, but I can take you to it. And what was your name, good sir?
I am Androcles Thalassa.
Androcles, you.
And you are, sir?
Siku. My name is Siku. Yes. I have a question for you. Do you know many Atlanteans? Because you're the second one that's come through here in the last several months.
A fact. I seek others. Where was this Atlantean?
I am sad to report that he was an explorer of some sense, and he wouldn't listen to our warnings, and I did find his remains out beyond the frozen lake.
Is it still there, or?
I believe it is, yes. We left it there.
You say he was beyond the frozen lake?
Yes.
What caused his demise, if I might ask?
Well, not entirely sure, but we believe, and he looks around and goes, are you familiar with Sarnathians?
Sarnathians? I don't believe that I am.
In all of your folklore, that's not... You've heard of a legend of a doomed city named Sarnath. You've heard the tale of that. And Sarnathians, maybe there were people that lived there. That's the only thing you kind of remember. He looks at it and goes, well...
Doomed city, Sarnathia?
Yeah, well, Sarnath, but yes, it was... they're fish. They're like fishmen, I believe. They live, apparently, in the lake.
Ah. Interesting. Very well. It's possibly worth investigating. Thank you very much, Siku.
I can take you to the lodge if you like. He looks over and he starts talking to the others to kind of finish up the work and everything. As he walks by, you enter the gate and you're following Siku in. As you walk into the main area here, you look to the left, you see a stable, you see a fire pit directly in front of you. There are several people who are kind of gathered. It's morning, and even though it's morning, we're at the time of the year of the cycle where as the sun comes up, it's blocked out by the clouds and everything. So it's still very dreary, and there's still snow and sleet coming through. To your right, you see what looks to be like a strange, out of place stone pillar, and then directly behind that, you see another building. Looks like a tannery. You see all of the different hides and things laid out. You see an old man and a boy working in the tannery, and you see a few other hunters, and it looks like fishermen walking about the fire pit as well. As you go through, you see, he goes, so he goes, this here is the Hunter's Lodge. This is where we stay the centuries. But all of the priests and travelers and sojourners like yourself, they stay in the main lodge this way.
Oh, thank you.
So as he takes you across, you're crossing over a bridge. As you go to a larger keep, as the gates are open and people are kind of moving back and forth, you see several other Eskimos, but as you walk in, you do spot a couple of Vikings, one of which you recognize. You don't know his name, but you definitely remember him from one of the slaver ships.
Was he one of the enslaved, or he was a slaver?
He was a slaver.
Okay, thanks. Lets me know who's going to die tonight. All right. Okay. Then in that case, let's go find Brogan first.
He goes, and he looks over, he walks over, he goes, Siku says, Altura. And this younger Eskimo comes up, wearing an apron and everything as well. He's kind of cleaning some plates. He goes, yes. He goes, is that the knight, Brogan? Is he around, armored fellow? He goes, Altura says he was staying up on the second floor. And he goes, room 4. And he goes, sure. And with that, he looks, he goes, your friend should be in room 4. It's numbered. You should see him on the second floor. And with that, Siku reaches over and starts grabbing some food and some drink as he sits down to have his breakfast and kind of leaves you to it. You look about, you see several other people gathered around for dinner, for breakfast. You do see a female carrying a big flagon of what looks like mead over to a Viking that has his back to him. As she sits and leans over, you look and you notice that you know that Viking very well, that is Colborne. He is the leader of the slavers.
Ooh, yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and make my way up to Brogan's room. And I'm just gonna put some distance between me and Colborn.
Okay. You go up to the fourth room. You get to it. The door is locked. As you sit there and kind of fiddle with the lock, the door isn't very good, and you kind of knock at it, and it kind of pushes open. As you do, as you push open, you see there's several candles lit in the room. It's a very small room with a small cot, and curled up on the bed, you see BG.
Hello, friend, and I'll go and pet him.
And let me pull up a picture of. It's been a while since we've seen our friend BG, so I want to pull him up. So just to remember the cuteness that is BG. Curled up, the BG looks absolutely miserable. You know that he loves the heat, and he's curled up next to like on the cot next to the fire, and you can almost see like the flames are almost like pulling towards him as he's kind of drawing heat from the flames. But he looks unhappy in the environment.
Of course, because it's cold up here. Poor guy. Right, is there some kind of a chamber pot in here, possibly?
Oh, yes. All
right, if there's a chamber pot, then I'll put that by the fire.
Okay.
And then that way he can curl himself up in the pot.
Okay.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming it's clean, but he can.
I understand. You're trying to find a way to keep him warm. As you're doing that, we're going to pause on your story, and we're going to pick up the story. Several floors higher is a knock at the door of Magos's room, as we pick up the story with Brogan knocking on the door of the strange sorcerer that he keeps hearing about, that has the entire town kind of divided on what to do about the coming and going of this strange magic user. So with that, there is a knock at the door. Magos, you're in your room. What would you like to do? You're muted.
Who goes there?
It is I, Brogan, Paladin of Apollo.
I didn't go to room service. You may go now.
I'm not here for room service, friend. I'm here for just a few questions. We have a mutual friend in Siku.
You're friends with Siku?
He directed me towards you.
Did you pay him?
I don't know if I gave him. I paid him with the light of Apollo.
I have no need for your religions. Thank you. Move along.
Oh, I'm not here to get you to Apollo. Not yet. Just need to ask you a few questions. I think we might have some mutual interests here in this town.
I'm going to cast invisibility.
Okay.
And then I'm going to open the door.
All right, so Brogan, you hear some strange incantation, and the door just creaks open, and you look into an empty room. And the room is much larger than yours. He has a larger bed. You see a desk with papers and candles and different things on there that look almost like alchemical in nature. You see a couple of rocks on the desk, similar to the star metal that you have seen before. And you see the windows are open, and there seems to be a very like a permeating smell of burnt sulfur in the room that makes the whole room smell kind of bad. But you look around, and the voice that you heard, you don't see anyone in the room.
Hey, buddy, you still here? Did you? Well, I'm gonna go over to the window and look out.
You look out the window, and it's a cold morning. Wind is blowing through as you look down from the 5th floor, and you see people scurrying about, but you don't see any way that you have climbed. There's fresh snow and ice on the side, and you don't see any markings or tracks or anything that make you think that he's climbed out, unless he flew out the window, possibly.
Yeah, maybe he is a sorcerer. Flew out the window. Why else would he have a window open in this cold?
So as he's leaning over, enjoying the view, I'm going to come up behind him and grab him from behind and heave him halfway out the window. And then I'm going to say, "Who sent you? Tell me now, or it's the last thing you'll see."
So with that, Brogan, you kind of by surprise, you kind of push forward, you catch yourself, you're fast. but you feel him pushing up against you. And what would you like to do?
Siku sent me. I'm not in the business of lying too much.
Are you a believer in Apollo?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he'll rise you if I throw you out this window?
You know what? That'd be an honorable death. I would go to the right hand of Apollo, like my friend Draken. Absolutely.
I pull him back. I end my invisibility.
Okay.
And then I say, my apologies. I have folks that have been following me, and I had to test to make sure that you weren't with them.
So what does he look like?
So, describe yourself. I have a picture, but Chris, describe your character.
I've got purple robes, a hood, short, kept white facial hair, lithe, but not completely wimpy. But you can't really tell under the robes. Probably my early 50s, and face that's a little tan from being on a boat for the last couple months.
Okay. And I kind of like the invisible you a little better. But here, let's...
Well, my apologies. And then with that, I pull some wine from a tankard that's there.
Okay.
I'm going to pour out some wine.
Pipe out. Yeah.
What's that?
I was pulling my pipe out.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pour some wine. I'm gonna bring out. I have some grapes and some chicken. That
you've been living well off of the gems that you found on your last adventure. You've done well.
Right. So I completely put a play out. I apologize. You are now my guest, but if I weren't careful, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. So my apologies, my friend. Tell me, how can I help you?
People are following you. Who's following you? Is it werewolves by any chance?
Those I have not come across as of yet. No. I'm Greek, and I am from recently from on a ship, looking for more star metal, and I found it. And I'm on my way after doing a little bit of investigation and kind of attuning to this new version that I found. I'm looking forward to going back to the where I found it to begin with.
Oh, okay. I've heard a little bit of star metal, seen a few. Don't know much about it.
I believe it's from a place called Barsoom.
Not sure if I ever heard that.
Mm.
I'm from the Gal Hills originally. I was taken aboard. I was enslaved, taken up a little bit northeast of here. And Siku said that the scuttlebutt around town is that people are wary of the arcane. But Siku says you are a good man. You saved his life.
The same can't be said for the other person that I employed on our trip, a Viking. He unfortunately didn't make it.
Too bad. Too bad.
So with that, as you guys are having this conversation, Brogan, you notice that this very strange flying creature comes up to the windowsill. It looks like it's like part bird, half reptile. You've never seen one of these before. As it perches on the window, it then flies up and sits and kind of roosts on the shoulder of Magos and begins like kind of hissing or chirping in its ear, in his ear, as he's kind of like talking to him. Now, Magos, your friend Reftantix flies up onto your shoulder, and as you have had him kind of scouting out and making sure that if any strange folk came into town, you were alerted. It is telling you that one of those Atlanteans has come in that you had him look for earlier, has come into town.
Raptantis has come with good news. An Atlantean that I had heard, that I sent him to search for, has been found. Would you like to join me?
Now, before you had sent him to find the Atlantean that you found his corpse out beyond, this is another Atlantean.
Well, does Raptantis tell me that?
Well, Raptantis, you knew there was a dead body that he looked for before, but he recognized an Atlantean, and he's now coming to tell you there's another Atlantean in town.
Well, I'm always up for meeting another Atlantean, so would you like to come and meet this new visitor?
The pipe started to work. Would you like some, friend?
I would enjoy a good pipe. Thank you.
This is from the good.
So we enjoy a pipe. We continue to drink a little bit. And I decided just to put my feet up.
Okay.
Strange.
And so we begin talking a little bit more, and spending a little bit more time. And I get a little loose with my tongue and begin to tell him tales about my grandfather.
Okay.
And begin to talk to him about Vormadadrith. Vormadadrith was his name. He was my great grandfather, and I began telling him about stories where he lived in Esdegor and was in the mountains and committed his life to the study of some of the star metal that came down from this planet that we called Barsoom. And I went and searched for him. He had outcast himself, and I found some of the star metal. And I made it my life's mission to learn more about my great-grandfather's studies. And it's been an interesting life. I have been able to find some of the powers from some of his scrolls that he left behind. But I now want to know more. And so I've made it my life's mission to find more and to continue his studies.
Interesting. What does star metal do?
Well, it does this. And so I use, I go over and I grab a bag and I pull out a piece of this, what looks like just an old rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I put my hands on it, and then I begin to enchant certain words under my breath. And then as I start to move it around and about, and then it starts to glow, and then I pull out fire.
So he's got fire holding in his hand.
And then I look around and I was like, you want to see something pretty neat? And so I look out I look out and I kind of cast the burning hands a little bit. I kind of let the fire kind of leaves my hand a bit out the window.
Okay. Which
you just gave the light of Apollo over this town. I like it. I like it a lot.
And that'll cause a lot of stories among the locals here.
Yeah, a lot of scuttlebutt about you. A lot of scuttlebutt.
But once word became that, once word was has come about, and once people have seen what I've been able to do with the star metal, it is a source of power, and it's caused me a little bit of trouble with folks wanting to gain the knowledge of that power. And so I've been threatened with my life to share that knowledge or die, and I've decided instead to run in those instances.
Well, I don't like the sound of that. Who's threatening you? Is it the Cthulhu's? Is it the werewolves? Is it the slavers? This whole place is just a big ocean of friggin' evil.
It is. You know, it's interesting. The last time my life was threatened, I was in the city of Chromarium.
Big city. Heard about it.
They were assassins. I didn't stay around long enough to figure out who sent them, but I was able to use my power to help me escape, and a couple lost their life as a result.
As you're having this conversation, the door creaks open, and Brogan, you look behind you and you see the tiny head of BG kind of peel around the corner as you see his ears kind of flop in. Following the sound of you talking, he's found you, and just behind him, you recognize an old friend, Captain Androcles. So now we're all together in the room. BG has found you. Magos, you look over. You see a strange pig, a long-eared pig, walk into the room. Hairy, strange-looking pig, and you see an Atlantean walk into the room.
I immediately grab hold of the legs of Raftansis because I know he's about to try to eat whatever it is that just came in.
Okay, you instinctively just grab Raftansis.
And he's like doing this. Like,
Right.
no, Raftansis. Not food.
And with that, it heals and sits back on your shoulder.
Androcles! Man, this is weird. All right, look. I got an Atlantean over here, an Atlantean over there. Another one just showed up. This is weird. I've only met one Atlantean before.
Wait. What do you mean another one just showed up?
Well, that's just what the bird said. Now, I have been smoking the pipe, so, this might be about 50% accurate.
So it's possible the bird was referring to me? I just found out that there is an Atlantean who unfortunately died. He was a victim of Atlanteans who lived beyond the
bird's smart. That bird's smart.
Hello, I am Magus. Nice to meet you.
Magos.
Any friend of Brogan's is a friend of mine.
Ah, well, that is true as well on my end, friend Magos. I am a chronicler of these barbaric and uncivilized times. Unfortunately, with the fall of the Atlantean Empire, we've fallen into these dark ages. And fortunately, Brogan and I became acquainted when we were taken and enslaved by Vikings who happened to be downstairs, my friend.
The same Vikings that enslaved you are here?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And
Brogan, were you familiar with this?
And yes, Androcles, I'm glad you saw that. Kilbjorn himself is here. And I ran into some werewolves. And
werewolves?
The cult of Cthulhu is thick here. And you're right, that was a dark age. But you know what can pierce the dark?
The light of Apollo.
One guess. There you go. Want some pipe?
No, thank you, my friend. I'm trying to cut back.
Also, I forgot to. This is BG. Now, we found. You know what? Just he's a dog. He's my dog.
He's my dog.
I'll go into that later.
I've got lots of questions about what that is, but you mentioned an Atlantean.
Have something in common. Y'all both like flames. He's gonna like you.
That is true. That is true. You generate fire. Is that what I see in your hand?
Still smoldering off of your hand. Yes.
Still smoldering. Yes, I was just explaining to my friend about the ability to harness the power of the star metal. It's a rock that comes from the heavens to a place that
with the star metal. As a matter of fact, we found several scraps of it in Dagon Bay. I have several scraps of it right now. Brogan, do you still have yours?
I do. I was getting around to that.
Now, that would be very much of interest, and I would be willing to pay a good coin for that.
That's so.
I don't know about you, Androcles, but I'm not leaving here until every single one of them Viking slavers is dead. I'd also like to take care of these werewolves.
I know not about the werewolves, but we are in 100% agreement and accord when it comes to the Viking slavers, and in particular, Kilborn. Magos, I realize that our fight might not be yours, but if you value freedom and any of the principles of higher learning and education, surely then you can understand and consider the situation that we find ourselves in. Here we have a unique chance at retribution, most deserved.
Let me ask you, how many pieces of the star metal did you bring with you, Androcles?
Oh, I'll roll one to him and go, it's got friends.
I tell you what.
They're small. They're small pieces. It's not as big as the piece that you found by the frozen lake.
Right. Okay, yeah. Are they any of use to me, Trevor?
So yes, they are. You are familiar with these. They're not from Barsoom, this color, but these are from a different place called Cycronish. But they are still very interesting to you.
All right. Where you got these and a little bit more of is there more where this came from is a very interest to me. So I will pay if you pay me with knowledge, then I will pay you with my hands. And the work from them.
Very well.
I like.
In that case, my friend, we will not only pay you with fish, so to speak, but we will teach you how to fish so that you can obtain the star medal for yourself.
That sounds like a worthy commitment. Before we go into Viking bloodshed, I must ask. I had my friend here, Reftansis, looking for the dead. What's it called?
Atlantean.
Atlantean. Been drinking a little bit. And he came back with news of you. Do you know of this Atlantean that came before you?
Yes. A new friend here in the village by the name of Siku told
Which
me.
everyone here knows.
Siku.
Siku went with me to go in search of this Atlantean. And we did indeed find remains, frozen, as you can imagine. But I also found quite a large chunk of star metal there. And it made me wonder if there was more knowledge of Barsoom or where this other star metal might come from. I didn't know. Do you have any connections with Atlanteans that might have been here before?
None personally. However, I am very interested in finding the remains of this Atlantean. Perhaps he has a journal or a diary that might indicate some clue as to his travels. Most Atlanteans tend to travel extensively, and so that would definitely help us. However, I must warn you, the threat is from those who live beneath the frozen lake, the Sarnathians, the fishmen from the doomed city, Sarnath.
Yes, we encountered some, and we're lucky to leave with our lives.
Pause for a second. Chris, can you move, either get a little away from your mic or move it back? When you get really close, it gets a little hot.
Gotcha.
All right. Brogan was looking outside and mumbling, just, hey, do you ever think shooting stars collide? I don't know. I don't either.
Well, Brogan, it's an interesting concept because the rocks that I found seem to be from different places. The energies that are from the ones that I found with the Atlantean are very different from the ones that I found from my great-grandfather. And it makes me think that, like the ones that you found, that the cosmos is greater than we imagine.
I think me and Androcles can attest to that. Matter of fact, this little guy here, BG, I just tell everybody he's a dog because I'm not going to tell everybody the story.
Right.
But we got him from Cycronish. Have a clue what he is.
Is that another?
You know it as a different planet. It's Saturn. You know the name Cycronish.
I do know it? Okay.
Okay.
So I grab the pipe from you and I smoke it for a minute. You've actually been
right there, my friend.
How did you travel?
This is something we will speak of another time, and in this case, we will again teach you how to fish, my friend. But first, we have business downstairs. It would be foolish for us to just attack these Vikings head on. We must be wise, and we must do what we can, and we should attack them so they have little chance to retaliate or even know who ends their sad, pathetic existence.
I will tell you, one of the Vikings turned into a werewolf and I had to put him down. He was eating some of the soldiers outside the city. Now, I have a feeling that more of these Vikings, or maybe all, might be werewolves themselves. So you'll need something magic. You'll need something silver. Something of that sort. It's just that I don't know.
See.
How many Vikings have you counted? I haven't been downstairs in a while.
I think there were 5, 6.
So there's about 5 or
him and his
6 that
girl.
kind of stay with Kilborn. There's probably a dozen or so total in the town, but you don't know if they're all together or not.
Yeah. I saw Kilbjorn. The girl with him was named Frida. Seems to really enjoy his company. And then there were 4 others, one of which put down.
You put one down and it was a werewolf?
Yeah, and I'll show him the mark on my shoulder. The problem is, he reverted back to a man after I killed him. And
Well,
Where's the body?
the ocean by now.
Fish food, huh?
You know, it's either that piss off a bunch of werewolves and the Cthulhu cult. Yeah, I wasn't into that yet. It was the smartest move, but I was under the influence of some really good herb. Telling you, this stuff is from the gorilla people.
Gorilla
Northeast.
I need to hang out with you more. It seems like between going to different planets and talking to gorilla people with great herb, that your travels seem to be a little more fun than mine.
The herb lets me process talking to gorilla people and going to different planets. So,
What time of day is it, Trevor?
It's still morning. It's still morning. It's a short day though. You probably got about 5 total hours of sunlight.
I'm wondering.
Androcles, it seems like you've had a plan stirring in your heart since you've obtained freedom. What does your mind tell you that is a good plan for taking care of these captors of yours?
we follow them, find out where they're going to attack, or find out where their ship might be, which I think I've seen it. The diversion, set fire to it. Then when they come running, we attack the stragglers from behind.
That's a great idea. I heard they're wintering here, so that will get them out.
Yes. That's a
Now,
pretty good-
another really strange thing, and let me get y'all's opinion on this. I ran into a man named Halvis, who was a priest of Cthulhu. But I also ran into another man named Halvis, called himself the Stable Master. That struck me as very odd.
2 men with the same name.
I know, right?
They look the same?
Maybe I'm just being paranoid. I don't know.
They did not
Could be
look the
herb.
same.
Okay.
It looked the same. Hey, maybe they're 2 Halvis of the same person. Oh no, this stuff's really good. I don't,
Friend Brogan.
probably shouldn't add alcohol with it, but hell. Yeah. Speaking of hell, I heard a rumor you summon demons.
I summon help when I need to, but it's very painful. That's one of the spells that I've learned that I only call when my life's in danger, because it literally turns me inside out physically, and calling things from the underworld is it's
That's
dark.
bad.
It's dark.
Yeah. I think I might need that star medal back. I think I might have to think this deal over again. I don't know if you know, but I'm a Paladin of Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
Summoning demons. I really jive with that. Sure about that.
Sometimes
What do you
the
think,
spells choose you. You don't choose the spells. Have you ever stepped in it before, Brogan?
That we have,
Never
my
summoned
friend.
no demons, I can tell you that.
We have
Smited
been.
some, smitten some, smoted.
Like I said, I only summon them when I have to, and they're not per se demons, as they are just things from the underworld. Not so much, at least not always a spirit. Sometimes just a beast.
Interesting.
What, you unleash some of those on those Vikings, I might turn my head.
Well, why don't we see what happens, and I'll let you and Apollo be the judge.
Androcles, what do you think? Should we wait till they go to sleep? Imagine if they've been up partying, they might be asleep now.
This is true. This is absolutely true. And also, if we set the ship on fire, but the problem is, if we set the ship on fire, then they'll try to take ours.
I didn't think about that. Let him try to take it.
Again, we need some sort of distraction. So what we could do.
You're saying there's 17 Vikings here?
12 or so, at least.
We could draw them out. Let's draw them out. If we.
Now, you don't know if all of those Vikings are part of that crew. I'm just telling you, total Vikings you've seen walking about the town, probably 12 or so.
Right. Well, there was born by himself downstairs in the Great Hall, in the Great Room in the Lodge. So if we were to jump him, and
he wasn't alone. There was a female with him, and there was at least 2 others that you saw as you were kind of scanning the room.
Okay.
Magos, have you run into the Cthulhu priests, the Cthulhu cult here?
You've been very focused in this room.
What?
You've been very focused on your study in this room for the last month.
Yeah.
So
if
the
you
priests
saw the size of
downstairs,
the
those
star
are-
metal, it's really consumed all of my time studying it and trying to attune to it. In fact, it's the way that I was able to do the invisibility that you experienced. It came from this new star metal.
Oh. So you draw your power from it.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
I'm not saying you should convert, but I don't need any rocks to get my powers. Good hand of Apollo just decides to give it to me now. I'm not saying that's a better deal, but I think it's a better deal.
Right. No, I hear you. I'm for now a man of science and a man of learning how to pull science into power.
Androcles and I, we dealt with what? We saw remains of Cthulhu cultists before, I think it was, up in the Northeast. I wonder if they're in league with these Vikings, and if so, that's going to make our job double hard.
Would they recognize you?
Oh yeah, the Cthulhu priest, he told me at first I was not welcome here.
Oh. So I would imagine the Vikings would recognize you as well?
They didn't. The Vikings did
They
not
didn't.
recognize Brogan so far.
Bjorn is way too into himself, looking at himself to notice us.
You
little
also look
peons
very
when
different
they-
from the last time he saw you. He was also on a
Sure.
different ship,
Not malnourished?
not malnourished. He's wearing arms and armament. Yeah.
And now you're a captain and a little more accomplished. I wonder if we set our sights towards this Atlantean. Look for the notes before the Vikings or anyone else were to grab them. Look for more star metal. And leave the Vikings be, as it were, for the moment. Just an option. Sometimes the path with least resistance. Just an option. I'm willing to summon hell upon your enemies if I need to.
I would appreciate that. I'm afraid that I am reluctant to allow these slavers one more moment of freedom than they took from myself or from many others who did not survive. So, if it's a matter of...
Well, then I have a plan.
All right.
Let's serve up some breakfast Grecian style.
All right.
And so with that, I grab my bag of rocks and I walk out the door and I head downstairs.
Okay. He's got a bag of rocks. He's not afraid to use them, folks.
Okay.
All right. So he leaves. BG follows behind him because there's still warmth coming from his hand that he seems to be following.
Smell my
BG.
glove, BG.
BG, you might want to stay in the room.
Are the two of you following as well?
Of course.
Yeah.
So you're up on the 5th floor. As you're coming down the steps, you get down to the 2nd floor. Once you get down to the 2nd floor, Brogan, you see your room. The door is open. You see Walian is just runs back out, kind of panting, looking about. Now, Androcles and Magos, you've never seen this. Well, you've seen him before outside the tannery. Young blonde-haired child, probably 10 or 12 or so, looking about you. He has these scars across his face, and an eye is missing. Let me pull up an image for you. Wayland's panting. He looks over and goes, "Oh, Sir Brogan, I just heard there was more than one wolf attack last night. I believe there was a second one out beyond. Ice fishermen were found mauled. Probably
Down near that lake where I can get 3 gold pieces per head.
Yeah, yes.
Some talk about fishmen down there at a lake. There's bounties on them. Wolves. That means they were south of the city and north. Huh.
If you'd like, you want me to get your steed ready for you, sir?
I look around. Are there any Vikings?
No, right now you're standing in the hall outside of a small bedroom, and there's this 12-year-old boy sitting there just kind of like eagerly looking at Sir Brogan of what he should do.
Friends,
I'm gonna leave them talking for a minute, and I'm gonna walk down the hall and look into the main dining area and see if there's any Vikings.
There are 3 Vikings, 4th if you count Free to the Female. So there's 4 of them sitting at a table together.
All right, can I see Androcles?
Yeah, you're basically standing at the staircase looking down. You look over your shoulder and you see Androcles is standing next to Brogan, who's also with Walian behind you.
All right, I'm gonna walk back and say, Androcles, can you identify those as your slavers downstairs?
I look, and I'm pretty sure they are, right? Trevor,
You look, and one of them is Colborne. Now, the female,
Okay,
you don't recognize the female, and you're not sure if she's enslaved to them or in league with them, or you don't know, but you don't recognize the female.
I will say, I do not recognize the woman. She is not an issue at present, but that one must die.
Yeah, you do see Colborne. And
Yeah,
I do have
I point to
the female. Hang on, we gotta close one of these off here.
All my links are broken. I don't know if that's my... All the pictures are broken. Like my heart.
I can see it. Oh,
There we
Frida.
go. I see Frida.
Oh, I don't think she needs to die.
What kind of songs you got up your sleeve, Androcles? What kind of songs you got up your sleeve? All right, well, boys, this is Walian the Wise, Walian the Warrior. I have kind of taken him under my wing. Is training,
Ward?
as it were.
Walian the Ward?
Yeah, there you go.
Very well.
So my fourth goal after killing the werewolves, the Cthulhu cults, and the slavers, we can fix this boy's face for him.
Very well.
He was attacked by one of the werewolves. Poor kid.
As you're saying, Wayland looks up. Are you going to hunt the wolves? Shall I prepare your steed?
Right now, Wayland, you either need to stay in my room or get back to your granddad, because there's about to be a lot of lifeblood spilled on these floors downstairs.
So I'm ready. And he pulls the dagger out that you gave him. He goes, I will protect your flank.
Wayland, I love it. I tell you what, you stay on the stairs until I give you a signal. How about that?
I will do that.
All right. Signal will be Wayland. Stab. Until I say that, you stay. All right?
Got it. I got it.
While they're talking, I'm going to put my use the pearl
Okay.
that I found off the Atlantean
Okay.
and begin to mutter to myself and turn back invisible.
Okay. Pulling the power out of the pearl, Androcles, you look and you just see there's this shimmer. There also seems to be a little bit of a yellow light emanating from his forearm through his robes, his left forearm, and as that happens, his entire body just fades out of sight.
Oh. Most impressive, wizard.
You know what you could do? You could stay up here and rain death down on them.
I can do that. And in fact, let's try this. I will go ahead and cast Hypnotic Pattern from the second floor. And I will enchant them with a Hypnotic Pattern, Trevor.
All right. With that,
They don't know we're coming.
no, they don't. I just rolled a surprise. All right, so there's going to be a surprise round. Everyone's going to get an action, and then we'll roll initiative. So the start is the spell that is the incantation is being cast by Androcles. So Androcles, what is the spell that you're casting?
I am casting Hypnotic Pattern, which, with precise gestures, I'm creating waves of polychromatic, zigzagging lines that fill the air in a 30-foot diameter circle up to 90 feet away from me. That is based on that table down by Kolbjorn. Affects no more than 24 hit dice of creatures. 24 hit dice of creatures, and you said there were, what, 4 people sitting at the table?
There's 4 total. Yes, there's Kilborn. There's 3 other Vikings that are with him. Oh, no, I take it back. There's Kolborn. There's 2 other Vikings with him, and then there's Frida.
Yes. So, they each get a sorcery saving throw.
So, Viking number 1 fails.
Horrifically.
Horrifically, I might add. Viking number 2 fails. Kolborn fails.
Yes!
Frida Kahlo.
His throat.
Frida passes.
It's like, ooh, lights.
All right, so all the Vikings are mesmerized. With that, we're going to go to Brogan. What would you like to do? This is a surprise round before we roll initiative.
I'm going to go right up and take my Morningstar +1 out and crush the head of Kilbjorn.
Okay, all right. So basically, he's stunned. You still have to make the attack roll, but you get huge bonuses. So go ahead and make your roll, and you also get the your fighting ability is 4. That's a natural 20. So now roll a d6 to see what the damage is. Okay, so it's only plus 2 damage. So roll your d8 plus 1 for being magical, 1 for being the master, 1 for being 2 for strength.
I'm gonna 2-hand this boy.
Okay, you 2-hand. It's a d10. Okay.
However, he was already stunned. Can we get a better crit than that?
This is what he got.
It's a crit. I mean, +2 is good.
Plus 2 is
He
good.
was already going to get a crit, wasn't he?
No.
No.
Okay.
All right, D10.
Max damage. All right, so what's all the bonuses? So it's 10 plus 2 for the crit, that's
whatever he has
12.
left.
Plus 1 for the magic weapon, plus 1 for strength, plus 1 for mastery. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So 15 damage to Colborne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. Also gonna yell at the guys, don't kill any of the innocents. Just the slavers.
All right, as you bring your Morningstar down two-handed, it rakes across his jaw. His jaw rips off of his face, ripping his chin, and now part of his jaw is just hanging off of his chin as blood begins to gush out of his face. He's not dead. With that,
Right.
It is Magos' turn.
I begin speaking incantations invisibly,
Okay.
moving about halfway down the stairs as I begin talking and start, summoning.
But which nobody can see.
Right.
'Cause
I have to do it or it doesn't work.
right, because you're invisible. But you're just you're waving your hands invisibly.
And no one can see it
Right.
except my great grandfather. And I'm going to summon.
Oh man. Whew.
Do I have to roll for that, or is it just
Yeah.
always the same?
No, you got to roll. So you're going to use Summon Daemon.
Yeah.
You're going to go with Defender, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull it up.
No.
No, that's the one you want here.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. Roll a d6 to see what class you pull up.
All right. Was that me?
Roll a d6.
Okay.
All right, it is a class 2 Lesser Daemon. Roll another d6 for me. It's really a d2, so I've got to figure out, is it 1 to 3 is 1, or if you roll 4, 5, 6, you get 2 of them. 1. All right. So with that, there's this burnt smell of sulfur that just permeates, and this orange glow comes out of the floor as you see these hands reach out of the floor, and you see this head kind of starting. It looks like a slug that has this black shard skin and red and orange in between the scaling of his skin. As he kind of looks about, it's a four-legged, looks like a grub with 4 legs. As he kind of starts looking about, and he immediately looks at the table of Vikings and starts walking in that direction. That's your turn.
Okay.
And with that, it's Walian's turn.
Old.
And he will hold as the good ward. He will hold. Now let's roll initiative. Androcles, the anger of slavers is filled with you. I'll give you the initiative roll. Roll a d6 for initiative.
All right, sir.
Team Vikings going on a 3.
Here we go.
Ooh, Team Vikings going first. So Kilborn is no longer mesmerized. The other 2 Vikings are, and Frida is free. So the first thing that's going to happen with Kilborn is he falls out of the seat. He looks back at Brogan standing before him. He reaches and he grabs his shirt and he begins to rip it. As he does, fur begins kicking out of his arms, and his jaw reattaches as this wolf snout comes out as he turns into this massive white werewolf right in front of you. And
Kill the werewolf.
And this is Kilborn. So this basic white mangled fur, as he kind of comes like and starts roaring. This big, his mouth kind of elongates out. His claws come out. It happens lightning fast. And with that, he reaches out and he is going to attack Brogan. And we're just going to we'll stay here in the tavern, but this is all going to be theater of the mind for a second. All right. With that, he reaches over for a claw attack. And now your AC is different now because you don't have your shield out.
Correct.
What is your armor class?
3.
Okay, that's a miss. He misses with a claw, and he comes in for the bite. and he misses. All through that last bite, he reaches back, and his teeth like scrape across the front of your armor as you reach back, as he just keeps getting bigger. He seems much bigger than the one you fought before. With that, Frida looks back, and she reaches over, and she takes her hand and just punches one of the Vikings in the face as they snap out of it. And then she kind of goes and she runs to the far side of the room after she slaps one of the Vikings and leaves. And with that, it is now your turn. I'm going to give Androcles the first run.
All right. Well, first of all, let's just see how long it's going to last, because I'm going to stop. Right.
So that last Viking is going to be mesmerized for a while.
Yes. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the wand, the radium wand, and I'm going to snipe. Kolbjorn.
Okay, so you pull out the Atlantean wand, the radium pistol, as it were, and you take a shot. Now he is he is locked in melee with Brogan, so don't roll bad.
I got this.
You say he just grew to be a large size?
Yeah. Well, he's just bigger. Just don't roll bad.
Fair enough.
What's your fighting ability?
3.
That's not bad for a bard.
Missile ability is actually, you know what? That would make it 4, so it would be 11, not 3.
Okay. So you miss. The blast goes like under the arm of dodging it out of the way of the Kolbjorn dodges it. The blast hits the far side of the wall, erupts the side of the lodge. Roll 4d6 fire damage. Is it? No, it's 5d6. It's 5d6 fire damage. 20. Okay, so it hit. Now here's the thing. The room is there. It's mainly stone, but there's also a lot of wood as well, and some of the wood planking erupts in fire. And at this point, it's total chaos in the room as you let loose the radium pistol. With that, it is Brogan's turn.
All right, who else is in here besides us and the werewolf?
There's other Eskimos that are running and like trying to get out of here. And at this point, it's basically the non-combatants are leaving, and it's just this table of death.
Okay, good. I just wanted witnesses because I was looked at like I was insane when I told them werewolves were here. All right.
Right.
So I'm going to swing twice.
Right.
Because it's every other round, right?
Correct.
All right. On
I just realized something. Brogan, the last round that you moved more than 20 feet, it would have been a righteous charge and done another 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
So it would have been 19 damage.
Trust you on that one.
Yeah. You just have to remember, I know because we're not using a map, but anytime you move more than X number of feet, it's a righteous charge.
Okay, I got you. You can count it as I got you.
Right.
I got
All you gotta do is move.
All right.
All right. So with that, you get 2 attacks. You're still two-handing the 19. Let it again. Roll another D10.
Crit. Oh.
So you missed the second. You missed the second attack.
All right.
But the first attack lands.
D10. Eat it.
10 again. Again, you bring the morning saw across the face. Again, hitting its jaw, dislodging its jaw is hanging off the side. So you did. Now, what's the total damage? It's 10 plus 1 for being magical, plus 1 for being master.
It looks like plus 4.
Plus 4. Okay, because of your strength. So with that, you break the jaw off again. There's just blood just gushing out of it. And then as soon as you bring the morning star up again, you swing again. That one you miss. You crash the table as Kolbjorn the werewolf is kind of pulling back and roaring. With that, it is now Magos' turn. But the first thing that's going to happen is the daemon, this kind of the four-legged grub that's running across the floor, is going to run and attack the leg of Kolbjorn. Magos, roll a d20 for me. Oh, it was an 18. It's a 5. It misses, but it's sitting there. It's there. With that, it is now your turn, Magos. That's not your turn, so you can do something else. You're still invisible.
I am going to continue to encamp and move my arms and say certain things that can't be muttered in civil society. And then I begin to get sick and throw up as I do this because it makes me violently ill to summon yet another creature from the depths. But I'm doing it.
All right, roll a d6 as you pull him another daemon out.
Wow.
Okay, so this one is just the slug. So out of on another side of the room, another one of these little grubs comes out. This one doesn't have legs. It's just kind of like moving across the ground. There's just like this orange ooze coming across the floor as it comes out and immediately starts moving towards the werewolf. I do have an image to show what this thing looks like. So this is from the book. So it has these tusks that's coming out. It's kind of like crawling across the floor, and the colors of it, like I said, it's like a black carapace with like this like orange and red in between the rivets of the carapace. Is it moving across the floor? So now we have 2 daemons are now in the tavern as well, and with that, and a fresh pool of vomit, and with that, it's Walian's turn, standing with the dagger, waiting.
Ryland, get BG and get out of here. Go to your grandfather's.
I will. He runs and he moves. BG is actually close to you, so he runs up to grab BG. So he picks up BG, but he's probably halfway between the two of you as he's picking up BG and using the dagger to go in a defensive stance with the dagger. With that, we roll initiative.
Was it me?
It is. It's Brogan. Werewolves going on 6.
Wait, that's
Nonsense.
That was me. You cheered too soon. It was me. All right. With that, now we move up, and it is the werewolf's turn again. Colborn reaches back. His mouth like bloody. His jaw ripped out. He lunges forward to slash attack Brogan. He'll get 2 attacks.
So he can't bite me.
No, he can't.
How bad a miss is that?
It's a natural 1. All right, hold up. It's a natural 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Monster.
Let's
Epic
see.
fail, Char.
Epic fail. This is a new 3rd edition thing. The werewolf has rolled a 1.
I'm talking about.
An 11. He reaches over, and one of the Vikings who had just woken up takes the claw across the face and takes 2d6 damage.
Yeah.
He takes 6.
Yeah.
Take it.
So the claw comes across his face, like, "Arr!" And as he does that, he reaches over with his other claw, and he's going to come back at Brogan again. And he misses.
Nonsense.
And as you do that, you just take a step back and you just push the paw out of the way with your Morning Star as you're going toe to toe with Colborn. Now
Righteous
it is.
Fury of Apollo.
Now it's the other
amazing.
Vikings. One of the Vikings is still mesmerized because of the hypnosis of Androcles. The Viking that just took the claw across the face, he stands up and starts shaking as his fur bursts out of his. And he starts like looking about, and he lunges forward at between Brogan and him. The table is smashed. There's the daemon that is crawling. The class 2 daemon is crawling up behind him. He's gonna reach over and try to claw and bite the daemon. He misses with the first attack. The second attack will hit, and then he bites the daemon, which actually that will hit the daemon. All right, so. Skip the damage. He reaches for it. He claws the daemon. He takes the bite. He cuts the daemon in half and just starts ripping it apart as the class 2 daemon is now dead and bleeding out on the floor. With that, it is now Frida has run back and is hiding behind the table and just kind of like watching, but she's like hiding behind the table in the far back of the room. And with that, it is now the hero's turn. So Androcles, you're first. What do you want to do?
I will go ahead and line up the shot between Colborn and the other werewolf.
Oh, they're in a
I'm gonna
line.
try to-
They're in a line. So you go get a line. All right, so take a shot. And now the first target will be the second werewolf that popped up, and then that attack will kind of run through. So just go ahead and see if you hit.
Okay. Is it D20 plus 3?
Yes.
Ability?
Yeah, it's D20. Ooh, that's going to hit. All right, so roll 5d6. It will hit both werewolves.
That's what I'm talking
24!
about.
Okay. All right. So between the claw coming across the face of one of the werewolves, from Colborne, the blast goes. It shoot right in the neck of the first werewolf that you hit, who falls over dead and like basically falls over on top of the daemon that ripped apart. The blast then goes through its neck, hits Colborne also in the chest, blows out the back of him, and he falls over dead as well.
Oh my goodness.
Smash him! Smash him! Smash him, Brogan! Smash him!
Oh, I'm gonna slice his head off.
Make it
I'm gonna
last.
get his buddy.
And with that,
And then I'm
it is
gonna
Brogan's turn.
Throw him in the river.
So Brogan, you're as you pull back, you take your Morning Star, you bring back the paw, you block off the paw. As soon as you take that step back, there's a radiant blast that cuts down both of these werewolves that fall down to the ground. As soon as they hit the ground, as they're falling down, the fur is shedding off of them as they begin to revert to human form. It is your turn. So you're seeing all of this happen quickly.
So there's one more, and he's mesmerized, right?
Correct.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna smash his head in.
Okay. All right, roll. It hits. Roll a d10. Okay, so and you miss your step. You land the hit on the shoulder. You hear his shoulder crack under the weight of your Morning Star's attacks. It's 6 points of damage total because I know it's 2 plus 4 for you, so it does 6. Your Morning Star is magical in nature, so it's having a really good effect on these werewolves. And with that, it is Magos's turn. The slug that's going is going to be just move towards the other Viking, who's now come to and is getting attacked, and it will make his bite attack at the other Viking. With that, Magos, make the attack roll for him. Roll a d20. That'll hit. So roll a d6 for me. All right, and he bites into the leg of the Viking and starts ripping across as he's like basically ripping part of the leg off of it. He actually detaches the leg from the knee of the Viking as he falls over onto the ground, and the little daemon just starts tearing into him as the summon thing finishes off what looked to be just a regular Viking, a human, but he is now being eaten by the daemon. And with that, it is Walian's turn. He has BG, and he's fallen back to the back of the line, close to where Androcles is, holding BG and his dagger up in defensive stance. And with that, as all the Vikings fell, Frida looks up and goes, "Oh, thank you so much for saving me." And with that, combat is over.
I don't know about you guys, but I didn't even take a scratch.
Count your blessings, friend Brogan. Apparently, the light of flippin' sunshine rains down upon you, my friend.
And with that, the tavern is still ablaze. The tavern is still ablaze.
Pish posh. All right, yeah. I guess we should run out. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like completely gone up because it's mainly stone, but there is fire in the room.
We try to put the fire out. Also, I'm going to take some of the silver that we have that was in my pockets, like the silver coins and things like that. I'm going to make sure that I put it on Kolbjorn, like, in his busted open face to make sure he doesn't come back. And then the other werewolf.
I'm going over with my broadsword, and I'm beheading every...
All right, so we'll do this. As Brogan is beheading the Vikings...
Yeah, you're taking care of that, then I'll put the fire out.
All right, so you work on the fire. Magos, you're still invisible as you're watching... Obviously, some pin-up aggression as Brogan is just laying into the bodies and dismembering them in front of you. You're just like, whoa! It took a dark turn. However, there's still a daemon out.
Sweet Apollo shining golden ass. What is that thing?
Magos, you're invisible. Would you roll a d6?
Oh
Yes. It's a moment.
Wait, was Frida lying?
It is sitting there, it's still munching on the dead Viking, who's now missing a head, but it's still munching.
Let him finish.
Frida, hysterical, is hiding behind the table.
Tell Frida to get out.
I will. Thank you. And she bolts towards the door.
Okay, no problem.
Now,
And
I'm gonna look
I
at the
scream
daemon.
out, tell them you started the fire.
What does the daemon look like? It's like, what's its color?
Black. It has a black carapace. It has like orange and red, kind of in between like the plates of the carapace. So these large tooth, like these tusks coming out, and he's just like gnawing on the body of the Viking.
Is it like shiny or is it like kind of like
It's
dark?
muted. It's definitely dark.
All right, I'm gonna look at a new friend here and say,
Well,
oh, no.
Magos is still invisible.
Well, I'm actually not gonna look at him. I'm gonna call in his general direction and say, now, friend, I don't know about you, but I don't like to lecture, I don't like to proselytize, and I don't like to preach. But the last time I met with a Damon, it didn't go so well. Okay, you might not like these guys too much. This could bite you in the ass. I was on a different planet. One of these left me to die. All right? I'm just telling you. It was an interstellar type thing.
You saw one of these?
Yes.
Interesting. And so with that, I'll take my dagger. With that, I'll take my dagger and pop it into the
You take out your silver dagger and you're going to kill the daemon.
Yeah.
All right, so you off the daemon before it has a chance to turn on you or someone else. It's still feeding. You just reach up behind it and like mercy kill the thing as it bleeds out onto the ground. But now there's a very interesting crime scene here. As there's bodies laying about. The Androcles, you're doing well, putting out as much of the fire as you can. Other Eskimos have come in with pails of water, and they're trying to help as well put out the rest of the fire. There is a hole in the side that they were able to stop it in time before the whole thing went out, but mainly because the building is mainly stone. It just uses wood for a lot of the support braces and things. So the damage is done. There is a hole, and it will need to be repaired as the cold wind is kind of blowing in here. But you were victorious, and now Kilborn and his compatriots are now dead. As that happens, from behind you there's a staircase, and you look and you see a couple of people, older gentlemen, looking up, and looks over, and you hear one look over. He goes, "Praise to Cthulhu! They rid us of these webeast."
Yes, and now we will help you restore this building. I will commit gold coin.
Where's this voice coming from?
Oh, I killed that thing as soon as I do damage.
Oh, that's right. As soon as you did damage, you became visible. Correct. Sorry.
Yes, so they see me kind of over this demon thing with my silver dagger.
Right.
So I'm going to stand up and I said, not only do we deliver you from these beasts, but we will help restore this safe house for yours and our people. And so with that, I'm going to.
One of the head priest touches over and goes, "How do we know this? How do we not know there's more of these beasts?"
I don't know. Fight fire with fire. Aren't you evil?
He goes, "I am just a simple believer of a deity like you. I serve the gods, but I just wonder how many more these things seem to run in packs like most wolves. How do we know there are not more?"
Are more. This was their leader. This was their alpha. For the others that come, we will take care of them as well.
I am sorry, I do not know you. Who are you, good sir?
I am Androcles Thalassa, chronicler.
He's the guy who just ridded you of your head werewolf.
He's the captain that just arrived.
Oh, Captain Androcles. Yeah. My name is Halvus. I am the one of the priests here that keep things in check. I will need to consult with our chieftain Tiatu. But how do we know for sure that he was the Alpha?
You tell Tiatu that he lets anybody in here. Doesn't matter who they worship from now on.
In Apollo.
Or, the same thing could happen to your temple. I'm just saying.
Tread lightly. We have powerful friends as well, and I appreciate all that you've done here, but really, how did you know there were werewolves?
I killed one last night. It was eating your guards outside the town.
That was you.
It was
I had
no
heard
wolf.
that.
It was a werewolf.
A werewolf. Yes.
And that one's name was Magnus.
Magnus.
So
I
I guess you
remember
can count
Magnus.
him.
Yes, he was. He drank a lot. I remember him. He ran with that lot as well. The ones that maybe all of those Vikings that came on that ship were all werewolves.
Round up the people and give us a list of these Vikings. We'll see.
Well, there's other Vikings here, but they didn't come in with them.
Oh, those were the only Vikings that came in with him?
I believe so. I'll have to ask around.
Where's this
Tiatu might know.
Tiatu.
Tiatu. Yeah, Tiatu, I found out, was he was kind of like the head honcho, the big cheese of the town. Where's Frida?
Frida has left. You told her to
told her
leave,
to go.
and she did.
Told her to get out. We don't kill women or children
Right.
unless they start something. If she comes back and she starts casting spells, or she's leading the Vikings after us in werewolf form, obviously then we'll know. But for right now, we give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
She starts having puppies. We know.
All right.
Well, Haldus looks over and goes, well, I thank you for defending our town, strangers. You're most welcome here. I'll see it to it that your room and board are on us, and we, as a token of our thanks for ridding us of these beasts. Who knows how many more they would have killed had you not acted so quickly. And he looks back and goes, I am not one to question your methods. I am just glad that we did not lose our home in the process of the battle.
We tried to be as swift and efficient as possible, but we knew that if we kept them here at the table, then we could minimize the damage to the entire village. Because who knows where they might have run through and I'm going to point out, through the tannery or the fishing lodge, or, in terms of the damage that they could have done to other citizens of the town in trying to escape us.
Yes, we should set up wards to protect us from these lichens. I believe there are, if I remember correctly, a wolfsbane. They are. Yes. We should plant wolfsbane around town. They'll ward us against future lichen problems. I will get with some of our.
And also silver.
Silver can be hard to find, but I believe wolfsbane grows in the valley.
Very well.
We'll look at Magus. Magus.
Isn't that near the frozen lake? I guess, is that in the direction that we were planning on heading?
Actually, yes. I'll have to ask some of our more ranger friends, but I know just past the lake there's an area I seem to recall there spoke of wolfsbane.
Would Sigos know where that's at?
Siku, yes.
Siku. Siku absolutely would, yes.
Look
Well,
at
let's help
Magus.
you. Let's help you do what we can to help repair this area, and then I say we have Siku help us go get some wolfsbane.
I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Magus and toss him my 2 star medals and be like, I think you earned that. I think we'll accompany you to this island. See if we can find you some more of that star medal. You more than earned your keep.
Certainly.
I'm a little touch and go on that summon and daemon thing. I'd have to have a chat or two about that,
But you helped us fulfill a lifelong quest, my friend, and for that we will be eternally grateful. And there is much for us to discuss on the way to the frozen lake.
Well, I can tell you after facing those folks from the lake that a larger party is going to fare better than a smaller one.
Oh.
And Walian speaks up. I will go. You'll have my dagger.
Well, Eileen, I think it's about time we graduate you to a short sword, my friend.
Oh, that'd be good. You'll teach me to wield it then. And as he looks at it, he pulls you to the side. He says, "Sir, master, sir, knight." And he kind of pulls you to the side. He puts up his dagger and he reaches over and he goes, he pulls out this very large pouch and he hands it to you. He goes, "I took this. It can be a gift to you and to Apollo." And you look inside of it, and it's a bag full of gold coins.
From Goldhorn?
Where'd you get this? From your grandpa?
No, I took it from that fellow there you just murdered.
Hey, you earned it. That was a good day's of work, my friend. All right. I tell you what, let's go over to the blacksmith and get you a short sword, your own armor, and a shield.
Oh,
time for you
that'd be
to
great. That'd be wonderful.
It's time for you to be adopted into the Apollo Creed.
Oh, tell me more about this Apollo Creed.
Defend the wayward. We destroy evil, and I'm going to glare at the Cthulhu priests. And
It looks like destroy the evil. Yes.
yeah. Your friend Androcles here, he's part of it as well.
I see.
So
Well, thank you for allowing me to be part of this Apollo Creed.
promise we're gonna undo what those wolves did to you.
That's right.
Make that a solemn vow.
We'll bring the light of Apollo to the darkness. We swear to protect the weak.
I will
But
protect the
Apollo
weak.
Creed.
I will. Yes, I will. Well,
But
all right.
welcome to the Apollo Creed, young Whaley.
Oh, thank you.
So the rocks I throw at him, what color are they?
That you mean the star metal?
Star metal, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at having this conversation. I'm just looking at the star metal. What
So
does it look like?
you have 5 stones. They're small. While the out of them is black, there is an inner lining in it that has like this yellowish hue to it. It's very bright. It's almost gold in color. And as you're looking about them, you're not exactly sure what type of arcane energy comes from it. You do feel it pulsating from these small stones. It'll definitely take some more research to see.
Can you make daggers from the metal that we have, from the star metal that we have so far?
Magos is not a weaponsmith.
No, we're going to the blacksmith now. Can it possibly be melted down to maybe coat 2 of my daggers? So like the metal that we melt the star metal
Ryland
that
looks
we
over and
have.
goes, unfortunately our smith was killed, but however, he can work the forge a bit. He's learning horseshoes.
Very well then.
Their clothes. Can we rummage through their clothes?
You do. You go through and the armor is kind of ripped off to the side and everything. You do pull a smattering of weapons and some items that I'll put up in Discord later as you loot the bodies. It will be based off of the rolls that we had in Discord, the loot rolls, but we'll discover what all they had. So you will get the loot of Colborn and his followers, and then you will then. I guess now the thing is we're going to be planning our quest to retrieve Wolfsbane and journey out. I guess that's where the direction of the party wants to go. And then also
star metal, and we want to get the see if there's a notebook from the Atlantean.
Okay, so go out, find the body of the Atlantean, and then also go and look for Wolfsbane. Okay, so this...
No, what? Wait. We're going to add another ship to Captain Androcles' fleet.
Wait a minute. If he has 2 ships, he's an admiral.
That's true.
The love boat. I love it.
Oh,
The fleet.
it's a fleet. He has a fleet now. There is a long ship out there that will need a crew, but that actually makes
True.
Androcles an admiral.
Yes.
Ooh, Siku. We can lure Siku away. I
I
like
was
that.
thinking the same thing. Siku looks like he's been a good resource and companion for all of us.
I agree.
Okay, so there's already the followers and the hirelings have already started a little early, but we'll go ahead and let it run. I like the organic finding of the men. All right, so this is a good stopping point. You definitely threw me a curveball tonight, which is great. I love it. So we had to do some theater of the mind, and I thought Colborn was going to be around for a while, or not. You just went and murdered some werewolves that I thought would be hidden for a while.
You didn't murder any real werewolves. That's called justice. That's
Justice.
called swift Swift
justice. Love
Hey, we
it.
don't go around here, law dog.
I love
I am gonna I'm gonna look at Magus and be like, look, for real, when I come down off this high, we're gonna have to have a talk about them demons. But for right now, it's mellow. All right.
Is he saying
I'm
that?
kinda okay with it right now,
I got a napkin from the bar, and I'm cleaning the barf off of my.
Got some Zofran you can take before these fights or something.
Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll end scene and we'll pick up next time for more Heroes of Hyperborea. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We'll be back again as we'll see what happens as they venture out into the wilds of Ryland and find out more dangers, and we'll see what they happen next time. So thank you guys so much for following us. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And until next time, let's keep rolling with advantage.